Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the Global Racing Network. We're back once again after a very long, what feels like winter break for the Global Racing League, and we're here for pre-season testing. We've got a half an hour session for the brand new Tier 1, and then later on at 8 o'clock UK time we'll have the stream for the Tier 2 pre-season test. So it's just the half an hour session this evening for each of the tiers. The league is now split into two tiers due to so many people signing up. Unfortunately, a few of them couldn't make it tonight. It is New Year's Day after all, so you can't really expect everyone to make it. But we get to see who has been making the swaps in the driver market, and there has been a lot of moving about, to be honest. Well, the first man who has moved is DL Branco. He has moved to the Red Bull for Season 3, as we see him making his way round the circuit. We're doing pre-season testing here at Albert Park in Melbourne, in Australia, to wait for the first lot of cars to make their way round, see what times we get on the boards, and gives us an idea of who we're expecting to be quick in the opening few races of the season. Obviously we've got the pre-season test this weekend, followed by the first race of the season will be next weekend, I think, next Saturday, here at the same track at Albert Park in Melbourne. And for round 2 we go to Bahrain for the second round of the season. It was the first round of the season last year. Then we go to Saudi Arabia for round 3. We go to that's some contact that I've just seen there. That is DL Branco off the road at turn 1. That was was that Tom by any chance? It wasn't Tom, it was his teammate NZ Pro getting in the way of the Red Bull to start off with. So like I say, round 4 at the Hungaroring. We then go to Paul Ricard for round 5 of the season. Round 6 is at Zandvoort. Round 7 is the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. Round 8 is Mexico City. Round 9 is Sochi. Round 10 is Azerbaijan. Round 11 is Singapore. Round 12 is Portimao. Round 13 is Silverstone. Round 14 is Spa-Francorchamps. Round 15 is Austria, or the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. Round 16 is the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. And then round 17 is Monza. Round 18 is Brazil. And round 19 to finish off the season in Abu Dhabi. And like I say, it is a split league, so we've got the double amount of action this season. 2 races to bring you each weekend. Tier 1 will be on at 6 PM GMT, which is the same time as the previous races, while the Tier 2 race will be a little bit later on at 8 PM GMT. That's UK time, or when it changes to BST in the summer, it'll be UK time all round. First couple of cars setting laps. Waffler, who's interestingly this season decided to stay with the AlphaTauri team. I was expecting him to move somewhere else, but he hasn't moved an inch. He's clearly comfortable in that car. Maestro has left the AlphaTauri team and given his seat to Ivy Whiffle, who's currently sat in P3 at the minute, and Maestro has hopped across to the Ferrari. And the man who's given up his seat in the Ferrari to go to Alpine was Colin, who we know he had some pretty rotten luck, as that's like Ivy Whiffle off the road there in the AlphaTauri. There's a spinning Red Bull there as well. That is Branco round. I was just saying about Colin, he had some rotten luck in that Ferrari last season. He's decided to move to the Alpine this year, see if the Renault power is going to be any better for him as a driver. He comes across the line and goes P3 for the time being. 1:26.7 is his lap time. Tom's also just crossed the line, who has again hopped across. He was in the Haas last year. He's now jumped up to the big machine. He has jumped up to that black Mercedes, and he's also taken his teammate NZ Pro with him as well. He is also running it in the Mercedes this year. And we do have a few returnees and a few debutants. Fazak is back after only being a reserve driver last season. He's driving the Williams this year. When he was back in season 1, he was driving the Racing Point, now the Aston Martin at that point in time. Now he's back in a full-time seat and he's driving the Williams this evening, and hopefully for the rest of the season. His teammate alongside him, who was at Mercedes this year and has gone the opposite way, is Reek Physic. He has gone to Williams this year as he exits the pit lane through the first couple of corners. He has decided to go into the Williams this year, which is a very interesting call indeed as well. Maybe he could have stayed at Mercedes. To be honest, it's arguably a better car. And a man who's making a debut in the league, who's we've seen elsewhere on the Global Racing Network, is Ian Baldwin, who we saw make his Top Speed Racing League debut not so long ago. He's now driving in the Alpine, and he's had a contact there. I think that was with NZ Pro, I think it was. Yes, it is. NZ Pro has also got damage from it. It says it's given him a 5-place grid penalty, but there's no race this evening, so it's not the end of the world. And NLD Grunwald, or who we know as Donkey Max in previous seasons, has just arrived to the party a little bit late this evening and has showed up last minute. As we watch on board with Tom, who's currently invalidated, we'll drop back and have a look at a man who we haven't looked at tonight, with his teammate just letting him through. Wreck Diver pulling off to the side, who's not in the Aston Martin this year. He is in the McLaren instead, and Vitrosity was with him at Aston Martin last year. They're both now hopped across to the orange and blue McLaren, which is arguably a better car. Not by much though. The Aston Martin wasn't too bad last season. Wreck Diver obviously winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix right at the tail end of the season with the penultimate round before we went to Saudi Arabia. Atrocity is looking a tiny lap from him, to be fair, on the medium compound tyres. Clearly trying to get a few longer runs in there, and he's P3 on the mediums, so that is a pretty good lap so far. Most drivers are on the mediums. Ian Baldwin has actually set that 125.2 on a set of hard compound tyres, which is really interesting indeed. So that Alpine looking like it has a bit of pace on it when it comes to the longer stints so far. These practice sessions are always good to try and get a little bit of data collecting. Maestro's currently gone first, currently fastest. He was on a 4-lap set of old medium tyres when he put that lap in. Baldwin, who did set a time on the hards, is now onto the mediums, so if he can set a time like that on the hard compounder tyre, I can't see why the medium would easily get past that, as long as he don't make any mistakes, of course. And he's just got his outlap invalidated through the S's, pulls off to the side of the road. That lets not Vitrosity, lets Wreck Diver go through. He's also doing a run on hards currently. DL Branco is also out there on a set of hard compound tyres as well. So a couple of guys just trying to judge the longer runs and what sort of lap times they can be expecting. Obviously we're coming here next weekend for the first round of the season, so they're just going to try and see, is the hard compounder tyre any good to start off with, or is it just a pile of rubbish. Wreck Diver 126.2 on the hards. Not the fastest we've seen, but not terrible. Dale Branco coming across the line next to... I thought he was completing a lap, but he's actually just starting one, so he must have been on an out lap there. He's going to see what time he can set on them hards in that Honda powered machine. Obviously in the next year's game will be just a complete standard Red Bull factory car, as Honda have now pulled out of mainstream F1. Red Bull producing their own engines from next season for themselves and AlphaTauri. And Branco's gone purple in the first sector here. This is looking quite a tidy lap from him. Makes his way through the chicane. We've seen a lot of people get it wrong there in the past. I think we have already lost Colin from an incident in that part of the track. There was a loose tyre just in the middle of the road on the exit on the inside of that corner. Unfortunately, we have lost Colin already, and we've also just lost NZ Pro. That is a crash on a completely different part of the racetrack. On board with Atrocity, we should be able to see what's happened. He's gone hard into the wall on the inside there as NZ Pro. You can see that Mercedes, bits of carbon fibre all over the road there. That's going to be a bit of a mess to clear up. Meanwhile, Dale Branco on the hard compounded tyres has done a 125.2 as we were going through that. And his teammate, Donkey Max, who's obviously in the Red Bull this season, switched across from the Alpine as the 124.0 to open up, and that was on a soft set of compound tyres. Maestro only 5 tenths off Donkey Max on a set of a 4-lap old mediums, so that could get interesting. It looks like Maestro is just warming up to go for a run on the soft tyres. He's actually just pulled off to the side of the road. His engine is still running. I think he's waiting for one of the Williams to come through, and now has realised that nothing's coming and he can get on his way. But there is a Williams approaching him with pace, so he'll need to get a move on Maestro if he's going to try and find a gap, which I think he may have just left it a little bit too long there, if that's what he was searching for. Just over 16.5 minutes to go in the pre-season test for Tier 1. And Maestro is onto the soft tyres and he is onto a lap as he makes his way through the first couple of corners. Nice and tidy through there, no invalidations. DRS open for the short straight down into turn 3 and 4. Again, he has got that Williams following him. Believe that's either Fazak or I think it's Rick Physic actually, because Fazak has just come out the pit lane, so it is Rick Physic following him currently, who's currently on the lap as well. Maestro purple in the first sector. Ian Baldwin has improved his time on a set of fresher mediums, a 124.4 for Ian Baldwin. Pulls him up the leaderboard a little bit more. Maestro a good over a second up on his previous time. This is looking a very quick lap from him on this soft set of tyres. Ivy Whiffle's just gone P4 with a 124.8. That was on a set of softs as well. All the drivers around him though currently only set lap times on either medium or hard tyres, so the softer runs will come later on. Maestro comes across the line and it's an absolute stonking lap from Maestro. It's a 122.1 on them soft compounder tyres. That is a very quick lap indeed. And it looks like he's going for a back-to-back flyer as well. He's going to try and improve this run. Has a bit of oversteer on exit there. He saw the car kick out and the red light has come on and he has backed out of that one. NLD Gromwald, also known as Donkey Max, is starting his next run and he spins coming through turn 1 and he's hard into the wall. Just loses it on exit, just pushing that Red Bull just a little bit too much. Loses the rear end of the car. We almost got in the way of the AlphaTauri there. He's not going to get in the way of his teammate though. His teammate's trying to get a draft off him. The old Branco, a little bit cheeky that. That's weird because Branco's only on an outlap there, so I'm not sure why he's trying to get a draft like that. Maybe it's just to try and help him get up to speed a little bit. He's let his teammate go now, so I'm not quite sure what that was all about. Meanwhile, Ivy Whiffle going well in that AlphaTauri, to be fair. Obviously, there is a lot of guys still to do runs on the soft tyres. Yeah, but showing a little bit of early pace, 1:24.8. I'm sure he's got a bit more than that in the tank. And he loses it on exit and smashes his front wing. Just pushing a little bit too hard. Loses the rear end of the car. That is coming through the exit of turn 6. He's lost the front wing in the process, so he will be heading back to the pit lane prematurely. At the corner ahead of him, that's down at... Lost it on exit. You can see that Williams there just in the left hand side of your screen. So he's going to be heading for the pit lane as well. So, a couple of guys just trying to find a little bit of grip out there, and so far haven't found it. On board with Tongo Prof, he's gone out on a set of softs now, and he's just setting him either on a lap, I can't quite tell. Yeah, he's just setting himself up for a lap, I think. His red light is on his car. He's just got that run invalidated anyway. Wow, Wreck Diver in the McLaren, still on the medium compound tyres, has improved by a tenth so far. Waffler has now crashed out. That is down, oh, it's the place where we thought him and Gromwald have had a come in together, or as we know, Donkey Max. That's on the exit of the chicane. Kind of expected, really. Wreck Diver almost has a similar moment. Gets on the grass a little bit. Turning his Formula 1 car into a grass cutter there. As he makes his way through the final chicane on exit, a bit of oversteer. He makes his run to the line. It's a 1:24.4 for Wreck Diver, so it is an improvement by 2 tenths. But surely now's the time to be whacking on the soft compounder tyres and just trying to see if you can get a little bit more pace out there and see what comparable qualifying runs you can do to the guys around you. Atrocity on a set of hard tyres currently. He's already done a set a lap on mediums. He's now going on to the hards, which is interesting to see what he was going on to the hards. He's now entered the pit lane. So he's returning to the garages. Maestro's on another run on a fresh set of softs, coming through the first sector. He's looking to try and see if he can improve his time. Tongo Prof is actually getting closer and closer to him at the minute, with a 1 minute 22.3 he set. Maestro's done 122.1 and has backed out of this one. He's getting out the way of Ivy Whiffle, I think that is, even though Ivy Whiffle is on an out lap. There's still some debris at the exit of that chicane from the two crashes we've seen there of Colin and Waffler. It's Ivy Whiffle. So he's done all his runs on the softs. He's now gone onto the medium tyre to try and have a look at some longer runs, get some data for the team. As he makes his way and loses the back end of the car, Ivy Whiffle, oh, he just about saves it. I just saw the car start to go around on his onboard there, and somehow he's kept that out of the wall. I think he just took a little bit too much curb on exit there, lost the back end. There's more action here than in an actual race weekend, but there's that many guys trying to see where the limit is on the racetrack. There's a lot of guys spinning out in the process. Gromwald is just about to start his next run. DRS is open, down the front straight he goes. And begins his next run on the softs. Has a kick of oversteer. He's done that a couple of times already. Lost it on the curbs and lost it on exit there. Bowling. Coming through the chicane in that Alpine, looking to see if he can improve. He is now onto the soft compound tyres, where his first few runs have been on either the mediums or hards, and he's got it invalidated coming out of the chicane. We've seen a few people get it wrong there already. Physics into the pit lane. I don't think there's anybody else really to watch apart from Doggy Max, who is going slowly. What's Fazak up to? The answer is not much. He's currently on an invalidated run, but he's going to go for another one to see if he can clamber his way up the leaderboard a little bit. He's not been a good pre-season test so far for Fazak. Looks like he's really struggling out there in that Williams car. Obviously having a season off, only being a reserve driver last season. Taking a step back, and it doesn't seem to have done him any good from early signs. We'll soon find out what happens anyway. Makes his way, kisses the wall there, and gets it invalidated because of it. So, Ivy Whiffle on another lap. He's onto the mediums now. Obviously done all of his soft tyre and runs that he needed to. Let's see what he can do on the mediums now, on the longer runs in this last stage of this pre-season test. So he makes his way through the chicane. It's looking a fairly okay lap. Obviously not the quickest we've seen. He's actually just knocked his front wing there. That's going to cost him a bit of time. And who's that in the wall? That is NZ Pro. That is NZ Pro in the wall. That is down at the exit of the chicane. He's got on his way again. Sorry, not NZ Pro, it was Tom. NZ Pro's already out of the session. My apologies for that. But yeah, Tom pushing the limits a little bit too far and costing himself some time. Meanwhile, DL Branco's just gone purple in the middle sector. So this is looking a pretty quick lap from him. In the Red Bull, pushes it a little bit too far, gets a snap of oversteer and heads for the pit lane. Just put the power down a little bit too quickly. I'm not sure. I think Branco might be getting in trouble for that. He did cross the line after the pit entry there, so that might be a trip to the race director later on about that. Wreck Diver, purple middle sector. What's he got in the final sector? Can he stick it anywhere near the front? He's currently P5 on a set of mediums. Can he improve on the softs? The answer is yes, but not by much. Only good enough for fourth. 123.2 for Wreck Diver. So he's going to have some work to do. Bowling's on a good lap. He's improving by a second, so this should get him into the 123s. It's actually got him even better than that. It's got him in the 122s because he improved by 0.8 of a second in the final sector. So 122.5 for Ian Bowling. I don't know if it's Bowling or Ballin. I might need to double check that with him. I think it's Ballin actually, if I'm not mistaken. Reet Physic heading out on his run in the soft tyres. Currently on an outlap. A man who isn't on an outlap is Maestro. As we're on board the heli cam as he makes his way through the middle sector. Very twisty part of the racetrack this. If you make a little mistake, it can cost you dearly. That's Fazak. That's not Fazak, that's Bolin getting out the way there in the Alpine. Making way for a flying Maestro coming through. He's looking really comfortable in that Ferrari, to be fair. Is Maestro not really pushing it? Obviously trying to find the limit as much as he can, which is what you want to do in these practice sessions, but it's looking quite good for him so far. He's backed out of that lap though. He's entered the pit lane, so clearly looking for a run. Reet Physic is on a lap behind him though, but he's also heading for the pit lane. So not many cars setting lap times at the minute. Fazak is on a lap and is improving by quite a substantial amount, but he's got the final the fast chicane wrong. Skips it over the curb and gets his lap time invalidated once again. Tom's improving slightly on his best time so far. He makes his way through the chicane, 2 tenths up in the middle sector. It's a purple middle sector for Tom. He was less than a tenth up in the first sector, so this is going to be interesting to see where he can put it. Can he improve enough in the final sector to nick it slightly ahead of Maestro? I think the answer to that is going to be yes, and it is indeed. It's actually a stonking last sector from Tom. It's a 121.8. So the first car into the 121s. Maestro will be looking at that. A few warning signs. Maestro's not going to get another lap either. So that is his day done. Branco is into the pits. Balin has crashed. Gromwald is on a slow lap, so he's not going to do any more. Trosti's on a lap. Fazak is also on a lap. He's going to be first to come across the line, actually, in the final stages of the session. So that was Balin off the road there in the Alpine, just in the background. As Fazak makes his way around the final corner towards the line. I think this is one of the first clean runs he's got in, and it's an okay one. P9, 125.0. Tom is not improving on that run. So that is the end of the GRL Tier 1 pre-season test here at Albert Park. Tom Go Prof fastest with a 121.8. Maestro is second fastest. Gromwald is P3. Balin is P4. DL Branco P5, Rhett Diver P6, Reet Physic is P7, Ivy Whiffle P8, Fazak's down in P9. Vitrosity might jump him here. Vitrosity actually goes to P7 from P10, so Vitrostity's P7, Reet Physics P8, Ivy Whiffle's P9, Fazak's P10, and Tom will eventually cross the line to finish the session. So that is the end of the GRL Tier 1 pre-season test. Guys, the stream will end here, but we'll be back at 8 o'clock for the other pre-season test, the Tier 2 GRL pre-season test. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again shortly.